Hey, welcome back to another Page Turning Tuesday with Tom. This is a good chapter. Um, we're alone. Mare and Charlie went out to see a band at the Paragon. Shelley was in charge. She thinks she saw a prowler, so she actually called the police. And then she calmed down. Then we realized we better call the police back because we don't want them at the house. Shelley is frantically dialing the phone when there's a pounding on the door. "It's the fuzz," she yells, dropping the phone and running away. Peeking through the front curtains, I see two police cars parked out front and policemen with walkie-talkies rounding both sides of our house. There's more pounding on the door. I open it just enough to see a sliver of a police face in uniform through the crack. "Hi, sorry, false alarm. My sister thinks it was a dog. Thank you, and keep up the good work," I say, trying to close the door. "Where's your sister now?" the policeman asks, pushing on the door. "In the bathroom. She'll probably be in there forever," I say, quite proud of myself for thinking on my feet. He pushes his way through the door and steps inside. I need to talk to her. "Shelley, there's someone here to see you," I roar at the top of my lungs. This is code for hurry and hide all the dope. We hear some ruckus down the hall. Shelley comes fast walking to the door with a determined smile on her face. "Hello, officer. I'm Shelley Ann Bross, the one who called. Everything is fine now. I may have seen a dog. I was just about to call and cancel my order." "Where did you see the perp?" "The what?" "The prowler." "Oh, in my bedroom. But like I said, it wasn't a peeping Tom. I think, show me where it happened." Shelley reluctantly leads the officer to her bedroom, which is a bad idea, not because the walls are black or that she has a Dayglow marijuana poster or because it reeks of pot, but because of the 5 little marijuana plants on her windowsill. I'm still right behind the cop as they enter her room. "What are these?" the officer asks, pointing directly to the pot plants on the windowsill. "Oh, just a little science project for school," Shelley says, stepping between the cop and the window. Using her body as a shield, she tries to swipe up the plants, but she's not fast enough. The cop reaches over her shoulder and grabs her hand. "Hold it," he yells. "Are these marijuana plants?" "No, bean sprouts." "Freeze," he yells again, moving in front of Shelley. "Stay right where you are. This is a volatile situation." His face turns beet red. Although he never reaches for his gun, he's definitely overreacting. After all, we're kids in our pajamas. 2 more cops burst into the room. One of them calls for backup. They will not take their darting eyes off of us as if we're going to make a sudden run for it. They gather us in the bedroom I share with Alex. 2 officers guard us, a man and a woman. "We're going to get a search warrant. In the meantime, you'll be detained to this room." We all know Mare's stash is in the coffee table drawer in the living room. If we can just create a distraction, one of us can break away, grab the weed, and flush it down the toilet. Chris tells one of the officers she's thirsty. We know she hopes to be escorted into the kitchen, creating a distraction so another one of us can grab the bag of pot and flush our troubles away. "Wait right here," we're told. The female cop goes to the kitchen and comes back with 2 mugs of water. Time for plan B. Maybe if I use the bathroom, I can sneak out and hide the weed without being seen. It's a long shot, but I really don't want to go to prison. A few minutes later, I announce that I have to go to the bathroom. "Go ahead," one of the cops says. I get up and walk to the bathroom closer to the kitchen, but I'm being followed. When I try to close the door, the cop worms his way in with me. "Some privacy, please?" "No, I'm afraid not." "I have to go in front of you?" "That's correct." I pull down my pajamas and sit on the toilet. Nothing happens because I really didn't have to go. Plus, it's too weird, even if I have to did. "Well, go ahead," he says after a few long minutes. "Don't rush me." I moan and push some more. My face turns red, but nothing comes out except for beads of sweat on my temples. "Haha, I guess I don't have to go after all," I say nervously, pulling up my pajama bottoms. He escorts me back to the group. We know disposing the stash is going to be impossible. It takes a long time for the police to get their warrant, but once they have it, a massive search begins throughout the house. Outside, there's sirens and cars skidding to a stop as more policemen arrive. I imagine the helicopters with repelling SWAT teams, the DEA and the FBI showing up. Uniformed men and women pass in and out of the room, some in bulletproof vests, all wearing patches and badges, sporting oversized flashlights, guns, and nightsticks. They look behind furniture, under beds, inside closets, and rifle through dresser drawers. The male cop watching us is unnecessarily cruel. "Sometimes mothers like yours go to jail and never get out. If that happens, you'll all be separated and put into the foster care system." Molly and Alex are unable to fight back their tears and start crying. Shelley and Chris do their best to comfort them. My hatred for these people invading our home steadily grows. We're sure they'll find the pot at any second, yet time drags on and on. My stomach goes sour knowing this drug raid will be in the papers. Everyone at school is about to learn the truth about my family. Somehow, all of these law enforcement professionals and their dogs manage to miss the bag of weed in the coffee table drawer. Granted, it's a sticky drawer without a knob, but still, was it divine intervention or just sloppy police work? All they managed to find is a roach clip, which had been missing for months, a few tiny roaches, and some pot seeds and stems in the carpet and in the folds of our double albums. Molly, Alex, and I are asleep when Mare and Charlie finally get home. The sight of all those police cars must have been a shock. They have no idea what's going on. Mare must have imagined the worst. Once she sees that we're all okay, she's completely relieved and calm. I rub the sleep out of my eyes as they arrest her. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to attorney. She doesn't look upset at all. Seeing that her kids are alive and well is all that matters. She smiles lovingly at her brood. This makes me feel good, even as they lock her in handcuffs and take her away. Don't worry about me at all. I'll be fine, and we'll all see each other tomorrow. That's a promise. She never sounded stronger or more reassuring in her life. Slowly, one by one, all the uniformed people leave the house. Charlie convinces us that Mare will be fine. The house becomes quiet, and I fall asleep immediately, exhausted from the whole ordeal. It's a strange morning, eating our homemade granola, knowing that our mother spent the night in jail. Charlie makes some calls and then takes us to pick her up around noon. She looks absolutely radiant, rested, vibrant, and empowered. You'd think she spent the night at a spa. She tells us how the man had treated her. I was fingerprinted, photographed, interrogated, and thrown into a cold cell for the night. Is that all you got? That ain't shit. Mare has just achieved a new level of super cool badass. She has street cred. Well, as much street cred as you can have in little old Davis. I refuse to let the man get under my skin. How dare they threaten me and my children? Over what? A few baby pot plants and a couple of seeds? Ha! We make fun of the so-called bust on the way home, especially how the police missed the bag of weed right under their pig snout noses. Mare's ready to fight for what she believes in. After getting arrested, she becomes a hippie with an attitude. They had no right to force their way into our home, and I intend to get my roach clip back and those rat bastards from those rat bastards, and you can count on that. You'd think this was just the best thing that ever happened to her. Maybe it is. Sure enough, the story is in the Sunday paper, and I'm horrified when Shelley reads it to us at the table. Children home as police search for drugs. I can hardly sit still. Thank God they didn't mention our name or address, otherwise I'd have to drop out of school and move to Madagascar. I'm a model, mentally gifted minor, not the type of kid that comes from a family that gets busted for drugs over the weekend. I don't want to go to school on Monday, but if I don't, it'll look suspicious. I keep a low profile. Fortunately, everything seems normal. As the day goes on, my confidence grows. Apparently, I've dodged a bullet. The next day, however, Mrs. Brooks announces that Officer Whitehead from the Davis Police Department will be visiting our school in the afternoon, and the topic is marijuana abuse and children. It's based on a recent pot bust right here in town. Sadly, children as young as you are using drugs in their own homes. Why do you think they call it dope? Did she just look at me when she said that? This was actually, it's funny kind of to look back on it, but this was such a traumatic experience as a kid. I was a little Johnny do-gooder, and this was like my world was crumbling right under my feet. I did not want to see Officer Whitehead. I'm sure he was at our house. Every policeman in Davis seemed to be at our house that night. So I'm in a real situation at school. We'll get back to that on the next Page Turning Tuesday with Tom. Thank you.